What's going on, everybody? Sean Daniel with GuitarControl.com here, and today we are going to slay the beast that is the Steely Dan intro for Reelin' in the Years. Now, you're definitely going to want to click the link below to get the tab to follow along with, because we're going to break this into 5 distinct parts, or chunks, however you want to look at it, because I think learning a solo like this long, is good to learn in sections and put those sections together. So again, we're going to break them into 5 parts, and the first part, or section, is going to sound like this. Okay, so basically we got a few things going on, and this is a great solo to learn because there's a lot of different techniques and stuff that we can talk about. So first of all, we're going to start on the B string, and we're going to start with your ring finger on the 7th fret. And we're going to do a chromatic run. That just means one note at a time. But we're going to use different fingers, and we're going to do pull-off. So it's going to be one pick on the 7th fret of the B string, and your other fingers are going to come off one at a time until you end up on 5B. So 7, 6, 5, that's all one pick. Now, one thing that you might start doing is if you try doing it too fast, it kind of sounds like that. You're not really getting a 3-note thing. You want to do it as slow as you can to where you can hear all of those. Make sure that first pull-off is the most concentrated on, so you can kind of hear the rest of them, right? If you try to do it too fast, it'll sound like this. It's got to be you. So after we get to the 5th fret, we're going to hit it again. And then we're going to do the opposite. So we're going to go backwards, 5 again, then 5, 6, 7, or chromatic hammer-on thing. And we're going to go down a string to the high string, 5th fret. And again, this isn't sustained. These are kind of like staccato, where you're kind of like muting the notes right after you hit them. It's not like... So then after that chromatic run, we've got a 5E to 7B, 5E to 7E hammer-on, and then you end on 5E with some vibrato, right? Then we've got some mutes. The way I like to do it, I like to just mute the B string. So again, I'm just kind of touching the string with my finger here, and then just getting a down, up, down, hammer on. So again, that's 5 to 7 on B, to 5E, and then 2 more on 5E, and then another hammer on after those 2 5E notes, 5 to 7. Okay, so then, so the last one is going to be another hammer-on. We're doing a lot of hammer-on from 5 to 7, right? So we've got, after that hammer-on, you're going to roll your pointer finger up a string to the G string 5, bend it, and as you're bending it, you want your ring finger to kind of come over and hit 7A. And that's going to be the end of part 1. So again, section 1, part 1, chunk 1, however you want to look at it, is going to sound like this all together. That's going to lead us into the next part. So the next part, at the end of section 1, we end up with the bend, and then where we're going to go from here is we're on 7A. We're going to slide from 7 to 9. So we're going to slide right here, go up a minor 3rd, which is down a string, the D string, 7th fret. So 9A, 7D, 9D twice. It's really important you use the right fingers for this because the spacing is really important. And after this, we're going to do this. So these are kind of like more pull-offs, and it's kind of like a minor scale type pull-off type deal. Your pinky's gonna kind of anchor it at the beginning on 10D. It's gonna pull off to 90, and that's gonna pull off to 70. So that's one pick. And then you're gonna go back to 90. So 10, 9, 7, 9. 3 times. And then after your third one, we've got this kind of power chord double stop thing. When really I'm just kind of barring 2 strings with my pointer finger, 7A and 7D, and hammering on my ring finger to 9A. And the cool thing about this is the D string is ringing out the whole time, which is really 70. So. So after we do these kind of hammer-on power chord double stops, again, double stop when you kind of hit 2 notes at the same time. And again, it's just a hammer-on and a pull-off. 5 to 4 on the A string. This is to slide back from 5 to 4. And then the low E string, 2 open. So again, the whole part is. Now, so we got 2 pieces done. The next one we're going to do is part 3, and it's going to sound like this. So let's take it from the end of part 2, actually. Alright, so that's going to be the third part, and this is cool because we're going to go through some chords right now. Now again, we ended up on this 5-4. Kind of think of these notes as kind of partners with each other. 5-4, 2-E. They kind of have like a symmetry between those two. And then we're going to kind of do this climb, because what we need to do, we need to get to this G major chord, which is the 4th fret on the G string and the 3rd fret on the B and E string. So we got to go from here, open E, to here. And how we're going to do that is we're going to connect it through this little run here. So we're going to go on 2E, open to A, to 2, to 4. I like to slide that. Some people like to play it like a hammer-on. I just kind of like to slide it. So 2E, open A, slide, 2D, 2G, slide into 4G. Okay, and there's our chord, our G major triad, as it were, right? So again, one more time. 2E, A, 2 to 4, 2D, 2G, 4G, 3B, 3E. And now we're going to go through a couple chords in this key, right? So it may seem pretty difficult, but if we think about these as chord shapes, it's a little bit easier to get to. So this is a G major chord. The next one we're going to stop at is going to be a B minor. So the 7th fret, we just want to pick up the G and the E string, right? So after we get this G chord, slide to 7 with your middle finger. And your middle finger is going to kind of anchor this whole thing, especially if you slide into it like this. Middle, lead to the 7th fret. Now lead all the way to the 14th fret on the same string. And if you just look at your finger as it's tracking, you're probably not going to get it every time. What you want to do is you want to, once you know you're on 7, once you've safely arrived at the 7th fret, really zone in on your eyes with the 14th fret of the G string. And you're going to hit it more often than not. Your brain kind of does the math for you as far as like how long you need to travel. And your accuracy will be a lot better if you look at where you're going to instead of following your hand as you're going along, right? So we've got... And that's the end of part 3, okay? Now we're kind of in this position, and we're going to go to the 4th part. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to start descending from the 15th fret all the way to the open E string. So we've got a lot of space to cover, and we're going to do this with some interesting picking going on right here, okay? So we're going to hit once on this G note, give it a little time to breathe, and now we're going to start moving backwards. Now it's just kind of like one pick, and then a slide. Okay? And we're going to go from 15 to 14 to 12 to 10. So practice that part of this section first. And these are all just kind of like single picks right now. I'm just going down on all of them. And it changes once we get to 10. Now we start doing kind of down and ups. Okay, now once we get to 10 too, it gets a little bit easier to track because Even though now we're not doing single downstrokes anymore, we're going down, up, down, slide. Once we get to this 9th fret, which probably, there's a dot probably on your fret for the 9th fret. Not all guitars have them, but a lot of them do. You can just track the dots back all the way, the rest of the way, because they're all odd numbered frets. So, to the next dot, to 5, to 3, and then open. So that's going to be the end of this section. So we've got the 15th fret, and then the single down picks, 10, okay, one more time. And remember, do it as slow as you need to get it cleanly, because it's way easier to speed up a clean pattern than to try to just be like, right? It just sounds bad that way. So that's the end of that section. Now we ended on open E, okay? So what we're gonna go from here is gonna sound like this. So if you remember, we ended on the open E string. We're gonna pick it 2 more times. Down, up, back to the 3rd fret of the high E string. Down, up, and then up a string to this D note, the 3rd fret of the B string. And I'm going down, up, down here. So down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And we've got kind of, I think of this as like 3 groupings within this part. Okay, so again, the first one is open E, 3E, 3B. Then we're gonna go into this G major triad. Again, part of this G major chord. G major is a big part of this song. 4, G, down, up, 3B, walk it back to the root note, which is this G, the 5th fret on the D string. Then we're gonna roll your ring finger up to get 5A, back to where you just came from, to 2A, right? So again. Up a string. So once we get to the 2nd fret on the A string, we're in the home stretch. We're getting excited. We're making Steely Dan proud with our progress so far, and we're going to do another chromatic run. Again, 1 fret at a time. Just 2, 3, 4, 5. But there's kind of like a rhythm that goes to it, right? So if you take it from here. So even though it's just 2, 3, 4, 5, it's not 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Pinky's gonna roll down to 5D, and then we're gonna open A. And then after we get that open A, that's our signal to slide into like an A pentatonic type deal thing, where we're gonna go slide to the A, which is the 7th fret on the D string, minor 3rd up, with a little bit of hot sauce on there. So A, slide, minor 3rd with a bend. And then after that bend, we're gonna jump up to 7A, 2 times, 5, 4, and then this A chord at the end, open A, 2, 2, 2. All right, so again, that last part. So again, those are all 5 parts. Make sure you click that link to get the tab, because that's the best way to kind of memorize a longer solo like that. I really can't stress that out. That's something that really helped me in my playing, learning longer solos, was breaking it up and just learning it chunk by chunk by chunk. And then once I felt good enough with each section, then I try to put the whole thing together. I remember if I started from scratch and was just kind of adding notes as I went along, I found that I'd be practicing the front end of the solo way more than I'd be practicing the back end of the solo. And then I would, like, you know, screw up a lot when I'm getting farther and farther into it. And then you just kind of like, you're getting anxiety as you're going along. It's like, I can't believe I'm doing it right. And then as soon as you think that thought, you screw up, right? So definitely try to get these in sections, put those sections together, and then just dominate, rock it out. So make sure to click the like button and the subscribe button, and please, any feedback you have, I'd love to know it. And if you have any requests, I'd love to hear that too. So until then, I'll see you next time.